Welcome to the quick hitter version of Catch and Shoot 2.0. Along with Aaron Berlin, I'm Otto Strong. Our featured conversation this week is with Adam Stanco, the Vice President and Executive Producer at 24/7 Sports. We size up Cade Cunningham, who's expected to be the number one pick in Thursday's NBA draft.
Adam, let's stay with Cade and Detroit. Just how would he slot in to what they're trying to do there?
Well, right away, he becomes the most important player in the franchise. I mean, above Grant. I mean, he really does. Because I think what makes him so special is, and I mentioned this before, but it's just the fact that he plays with such wonderful poise, and it's his pace. The fact that there are just so few players in the league that you could probably count, on both hands just in the last 20 years, guys that control the pace of the game. We've seen it with Chris Paul, obviously, in this most recent playoffs. You see guys like James Harden that way. Kyrie also happens to be that way. Luka plays that way, where all of a sudden the game slows down to the level that player wants it to be played. And it's almost like a cheat code. And it's just such a rare trait to have. And then you throw in his size. He's a much better shooter than I think people give him credit for. He's a better athlete than I think he gets credit for. All of a sudden he's knocked as not being a very good athlete, but he gets to his spots. His IQ is through the roof. He's got great vision. He makes other people better. So I think from day one, this guy gets the ball, and maybe we don't see this immense success from day one, but we see the same things we saw in those earlier great players. Like you saw from Luka early on, where all of a sudden game changer from the jump. You see guys like Penny Hardaway, where the entire franchise changes, where he has the ball in his hands and just makes a difference. And he wasn't playing with a lot of great players. He was playing with some very good athletes at Oklahoma State. I don't want to offend the Big 12 hat that you're wearing, but he wasn't playing with a lot of great players at Oak State. But he is a guy that certainly is going to be just a franchise-changing player for them. And so I think right away that's what they're getting. And the other part I would say is they need an identity. I mean, what Troy Weaver was trying to build at that point was just try to get talent in. And you got Sadiq Bey. You got this excellent shooter who's going to be a tremendous scorer at the NBA level for years to come. You've got Isaiah Stewart, who had some toughness in the front court. We know about Jeremy Grant and his ability to score, his ability to impact games. But now all of a sudden you have a guy that you look at and say, okay, that's our guy moving forward. He's the face of the franchise. I think that's the exact kind of player you're looking for when you talk about the number one pick.
Hey, Adam, our Big 12 cap is falling apart at the seams, which we may get into that later. But you talked a little bit about how he fits in with how Cade would fit in with the Pistons. But what do you think his ceiling is?
Hall of Fame. I think you're talking about a guy that certainly has the ability to be a 12, 14-time All-Star, Hall of Famer. I mean, again, the fact that we're talking about just the rare air that he's in terms of having that ability to control the pace of the game is one thing, but I think we're talking about a guy who can score at an elite level. He can be a distributor at an elite level. And when we see it with him playing alongside really great players, I think he'll raise their level of play, but also we'll see him reach another level. I mean, it was easy for defenses to focus on him this year, in college, and there were different ways that they could guard him. But I think, especially when it comes to the vision and the passing, I think we're going to see that reach a whole nother level now, that he's not just asked to be a scorer, but also a facilitator, and other guys are going to be able to finish. And so, his ability to pass, his ability, like I said, to get to his spots, he can score at all three levels. I think really we're going to see a guy that I expect him to be in an all-star game in a year or two. Maybe not again as a rookie. It's extremely rare. And also we're talking about a guy who's extremely young. I mean, that's the other part, that it's always tough to predict, because these guys are always 19 years old when they're, the one and dones. It's really difficult to predict who they're going to be, because we don't know about their work ethic. We don't know how much weight that ultimately he'll put on. Mm-hmm. How does the strength impact other facets of his game? So those things are sort of the unknown variables. But what we do know is that he already has great size and length, certainly for his position. We know that he's extremely skilled. We know his IQ is off the charts. And we know that he commands attention during a game and has great vision. So just starting from that point alone, we know what his floor is. So in terms of the ceiling, I mean, the sky's the limit, really.
If you'd like to hear more from Adam Stanco, check out the full version of Catch and Shoot 2.0 from Pure Hoops Media. You can also see the video version of the catch and shoot quick hitter on the Pure Hoops Media YouTube channel.